Come pilgrims, come poets, come people of God, in peace, in play, in prayer, and in love. Amen.
Our reading comes from Luke chapter 24, verses 36 to 45. While they were still talking about this, Jesus himself stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." They were startled and frightened, thinking they saw a ghost. He said to them, "Why are you troubled, and why do doubts rise in your minds? Look at my hands and my feet. It is I myself. Touch me and see. A ghost does not have flesh and bones, as you see I have." When he had said this, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they still did not believe it because of joy and amazement, he asked them, "Do you have anything here to eat?" They gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he took it and ate it in their presence. He said to them, "This is what I told you when I was still with you. Everything must be fulfilled that is written about me in the law of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms." Then he opened their minds so they could understand the scriptures. I was originally going to speak today about Thomas finding Christ in his wounds. Thomas isn't doubting. He is a prophet. He understands that God is to be found not mainly in perfection and holiness, but in blisters and scars. And there's all sorts of wonderful imagery in that. But today I am struck by the fact that in order to witness and reconcile themselves to the blisters and scars of their pilgrimage, the disciples need to find safer space and to be a safer community. They gather together in an upstairs room to pull the sweaty sandals off of their fetid feet and to tend to each other's wounds, even as they witness to the wounds of Christ. We tend to think of long walks, even pilgrimages, as a kind of solitary journey of personal willpower, but in fact, on the longest of journeys, we rely on our fellow pilgrims and on finding safer spaces in which we might rest, process, and regroup. We tend to focus on the upper room as a space where the disciples hide from persecution, but there are problems with that understanding, and besides, it puts the focus outside the room. What changes if we focus on that room, on the small group of pilgrims creating safer space together? In the church, there's a tendency to focus on myths of external persecution, but they are myths. The church isn't being persecuted here, now. No one is trying to stop us from meeting, from praying, from practicing our own faith in ways that don't harm others, here in the UK. So what changes if we focus on this space, on this group of pilgrims creating safer space together? What if, instead of trying to change everyone else, Christians focused on letting God change us? This is a season of new opportunities, new challenges, new communities. It's time to get the church's house in order. It's time to rest, to look back and process the ways in which we have been there for each other. To look back and process and make amends for the ways in which we have not been there for those we see as other. And to look forward and act to create safer spaces where we carry each other's load and put each other first, where we care more about what the other needs than what we want, where there's no more persecuting or converting or judging others, where there is only authenticity, safety, freedom, and grace.
We are a pilgrim people. always on the road travelling together, walking the way and talking away, singing, praying, learning, laughing. With a confident stride or a hesitant shuffle, one more step along the world we go. We say we want to walk your way, but the path you send us on is rocky. This pilgrim's path is the road less travelled. There are ruts and rocks and potholes. We are sorry for the time we've looked around for an easier path, the nice, smooth, paved road, the one with benches to rest on, cafes for a coffee, and signs to reassure us we're heading in the right direction. We give thanks that you have never failed us. You led us out of the wilderness, and we know that we can rely on you to guide us on this new journey. Forgive us our fears and our anxieties. When we moan that we cannot fly, remind us we can swim. And when we dream of staying still, remind us of the views we see from the road. Strengthen us, for we are your pilgrim people, always on the road travelling together, walking the way and talking away, singing, praying, learning, laughing, with a confident stride or a hesitant shuffle. One more step along the world we go. Amen.